congratulations
Thank
on tonight.
you.
It's been a huge success.
Thank you.
And the feedback that certainly I've heard from some of the women that have been in here and shared this evening with you is just phenomenal. So, massively well done. I mean, what was the first step on this journey for you? You've spoken a lot about what you're currently doing and where you are. What was the very first step for you?
I did a photography degree. So it was lovely to be with another photographer. And I did this simply, initially, to take better photos of my daughters as they were growing up. I decided that the second project I did was going to be called Women of Spirit. We were given little phrases, and I chose "Do not pass me by," and I thought, what am I going to do with this? And so I decided that I wanted to interview women, but women who were just walking along the street kind of women, not celebrities or well-known women, and see what their stories were, and of course take their portrait. And that's what I did. And interestingly, I handed in that second project, and then just after that, I found out that my husband had been having an affair for the previous 6 months. And I decided that I would still go to college, that I would still find out how I did. And my tutor said, I got an A grade, and my tutor said, this could be a book, Susie. Wow. Which gave me confidence, and I decided that, I would do it. But it wasn't until 12 years later that I was authentically in the right place to do this, to be a woman of spirit. And I must say it's been a complete honour and a privilege to be able to do that.
That's amazing. My battery is red, so if it cuts off, it cuts off.
Okay.
What an amazing start to your... that's almost an identical story to how I've come into photography as well. And
that's great.
Interestingly, which I'll tell you off camera, a very similar story. So, the women that have come forward and shared their stories, not only in your book but tonight, I mean, that takes incredible courage on every level. And I've spoken to some of the other ladies that I've interviewed this evening about how there must be a certain vulnerability about sharing a story, but then in a book format, which is a sort of once removed way of doing it. But then to take a stage and to perform and to speak and to narrate that in front of a room full of strangers in a way, that must take some big brass kahunas.
It's interesting you use the word vulnerability, because once some of the women, everybody knew that the book was actually out there, that their stories were here in print, in black and white. That's the very word they used. Why do I feel so vulnerable? I feel liberated but vulnerable at the same time. And I think that's because they all share modesty and humility. But yes, it is. It's like bearing your soul. It's like bringing out all the skeletons in your cupboard at once and showing them to the world, because this is going to go across the world. And so massively brave and courageous, because the absolute reason that they've done this is to help other women through their similar challenges and to be that light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, the stories can be harrowing, and because they're about facing adversity and coming through it. But the thing about it is that all these women are now thriving, happy, fulfilled. We're having fun, and that's what we want other women to be able to do, to get through their challenges and to know that life is wonderful.
Such an important and time crucial message to share with the, especially you're talking about you want to reach out to more younger women in your next book.
Yes.
I mean, the advent of social media, it's just a minefield. And as a mother of a 9-year-old daughter myself, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
And it's not just teenagers. There are younger and younger children. I heard the story of a 5-year-old who had an iPad. I mean, why? But she had an iPad. Was judging herself.
Wow.
Against, and that's so sad, because we women need to know from an early age that we are enough and that we are more than enough.
one thing that springs to my mind when you say that is, as somebody who's in education as well as in photography,
yes.
I still am very shocked at the dialect in which education is provided to young children. And, you know, with the best will in the world, some of the stories that are given in assemblies and in textbooks and in language and teaching, it's all his, him, they, him, and the female. And mankind. Oh, man, don't get me started. And I feel so... in my bones, I feel so strongly that we need to. That's where the change needs to happen. Is the narrative needs
fundamental.
Yes. Yeah.
But it needs to happen, as I said, without us being strident and shouting and burning our bras.
Yes.
I need my bra.
Yes.
And so we can step into our power as women in our feminine and nurturing way, because that's who we are. We are the nurturers, and we can step into our power in that way. This is nothing about disrespecting or emasculating men, because they have their challenges too.
Absolutely.
It's just about learning to perhaps acknowledge and celebrate our differences, but also to teach young men what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, and to almost begin again.
And that is probably a really good place to bring it to a close. That is such a key issue. I mean, the word feminist is, people are scared of that word. It has such strong connotations with even terrorism, acts of terrorism with Emily Pankhurst. I mean, it goes really deep. But the word feminist, and people are frightened of that word.
Because they don't understand the real meaning. If you go onto my website, Susie, I do apologise, womenofspirit.co.uk, there is a blog written by Amy Wright on what is the real meaning of feminism. I said, please, let's look at this. The real meaning of feminism is nothing to do with hating or disrespecting men. Men can be feminists. It created the most massive discussion, thousands of people, and one of them, I can't pronounce his name, was obviously from and he said, so here it is, the beginning of the end of civilization.
Wow.
And I just thought, whoa, we didn't expect that, but that's how some people think, because they don't understand.
Yes.
But they anyway. We could go on and on.
Yes.
Let's do this on a podcast.
Yes. Oh yes, let's do it. Definitely.
Lovely, Vicky. Thank you so much.
Do you have one round-up thing you want to say on here about this evening, just to bring it back to promoting the book?
This evening, it's been a complete honour and a privilege to have not only all the women of spirit, the participants in the book, but the speakers who have come here tonight to support this, who are well-known and successful women who are proud of what we're doing and want to lend their voice to it. It's all about giving women a voice. That's what we want to do.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much.
Thank
and I
you,
wish
Vicky.
you all the best with your new book.
Thank you so much.
And the future of Women of Spirit.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Yes.